Hello and welcome back to Edakshina. So I hope all of you are enjoying the coding tutorials. So today I am starting a new topic in React and the topic is React component. So we will be covering component in detail with examples. So before we shall start the topic, you should be familiar with ECMAScript 6 and the latest version of ECMAScript which are going to be used in React. Okay, so these are few topics which we will be using in React, and I have taught these topics in JavaScript. So if you don't know about these topics, you can explore the tutorials. So we have arrow functions, we have classes, we have template literals, then destructuring assignment, async await, then we have spread operator and optional chaining, and then we have nullish operator, and we have logical assignment operators. So they are going to be used in React. So if you have not studied about them, then go through the tutorials. I will discuss this topic whenever we will encounter in our React tutorial. But if you want to be familiar with these topics, you can watch the tutorials. So let's move on to our today's topic, which is all about components. Alright, so let's start. So if someone asks you what React is, you will simply say React is a JavaScript library, okay, used for rendering UI. So here UI is your user interface, okay, and your user interface consists of small units like button, text, images, okay. So all these things make your any UI, जिसे हम लोग web page भी बोलते हैं, okay. So these button, text, images, icons, these are the smallest unit of any UI, okay, and we call them elements. Now React helps you to combine these elements into a single entity called components. Okay, so whatever things you see on a web page can be broken down into a component. So even a single button is your component. Okay, so कहने का मतलब ये है कि एक छोटा बटन भी component हो सकता है. Okay, और एक बड़ा सा web page भी एक component हो सकता है. And we can reuse these components, which we will see later. So today we will only focus on what components are. Okay, so here is the definition of a component. So here is the definition of components, which you can tell in any interview. Okay, so a React component is a JavaScript function or a class used to render UI. Okay, now components can be as small as a button or as large as an entire page. Okay, so now we have seen what components are. Now let us see how many types of components are there. So there are mainly two types of React components. Okay, the first one is function component. So what does it say? These are simpler stateless components, okay, that just accept props and return JSX. And the next one is your class components. These are more complex, okay, stateful components that can manage internal state and lifecycle methods. But after the introduction of hooks, okay, class components are not commonly used, and we can check this also on the official site of React. So this is the official site react.dev, and you can go and read it. So you can see that in a pitfall they have written, we recommend defining components as functions instead of classes, and there is a link. So if you click on it, so they will tell you how to migrate from class components to function components with the help of example. Okay, and if we read it more, then you can see component is the base class for React components defined as JavaScript classes, and then they are saying class components are still supported by React, but we don't recommend using them in new code. Okay, so if you are learning now, then do not learn the old React, try to learn the new React, okay, which is version 19. So let's move on to our topic, that is function components. Okay, all right, so now let us write our first function components. Okay, so open your VS Code and open your m.jsx file. So components are just like your normal JavaScript function, okay, and there is a little bit difference, and see how we write it. So function app, where A is capital, okay, then we use open and close brackets, then curly brace. That's it. You can name the component as per your requirements. Okay, it can be app. If you want to show some welcome message, then you can use welcome. If it is a notification type components, then you can use notify, okay, whatever name you want to, but it should start with capital letter. So as we have studied that components return JSX, right? So we use return, then your HTML markup tags open and close, okay. So I want to return a heading hello class, okay, and in the last we use semicolon. So this is the first component of our tutorial, and this is the smallest component which we have created. The name of the component is app, okay, and it is returning hello class, okay. And now we write a line export default app and semicolon in the last. So this is your JavaScript syntax, export default, okay. And why we use it? So that any other file can import our app component in it, okay. So you can see that in main.jsx we have import app component, okay, from app.jsx, and then we have render it, right, our app component. So we will see all this later. Currently we focus on our component, okay. And when we will be covering topic importing and exporting of components, we will cover this in more detail. So we have our first component, okay, which is app component, and now we are going to run it. So in your VS Code, in your terminal, write cd my app, which is your folder name. So you will go inside the my app folder, and then you will write npm run dev and press enter. So it will pop up this window where if I click this, then it will open the browser and you can see hello class as the output. And if you want to see in VS Code only, then that can also be done. See, when I click this refresh reload icon, so here I get the output hello class, okay. So this was your first function component and this is how it works, okay. अब हम लोगों ने फंक्शन जावास्क्रिप्ट में पढ़ा है, ओके. तो फंक्शंस क्या करते हैं? आउटपुट प्रोवाइड करते हैं एंड दे टेक इनपुट आल्सो एज एन आर्गुमेंट, राइट. सो क्या हम लोग कंपोनेंट्स में आर्गुमेंट्स को पास कर सकते हैं? बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं. एंड हाउ वी डू इट? वी यूज प्रॉप्स फॉर इट, ओके. सो अगर हमें अपने कंपोनेंट्स को कोई इनपुट देना है, देन वी यूज props. But before that, let us practice some more components, okay. So in the previous lecture I have told you that when you write return statement, अगर single line statement है, then हम उसे return के बाद as it is लिख लेते हैं and we place semicolon. But if we have multiple return statements, then we use fragments or div tag, okay. So let us write a multiple return statement using div, okay. So what I am going to do is I will use open and close bracket, okay, and semicolon in the last. So I am removing this line, okay. Now inside return statement I will use div to return multiple statements, okay, or I can use fragments like this. If the fragment is open, then it should be closed and this is mandatory, okay. If I'm not closing it, then I will get an error. So you have to close it like this. So inside fragments we can pass multiple statements or multiple components, okay. So here I am writing hello class, okay. Now I have another statement which is a paragraph. I hope you enjoying the tutorials, okay. So like this you can add multiple statements. Like I want to add image, so image tag open and close, and now I pass the source of image, source equal, okay. So this is the path of the image which is quite long. So you can see we have image also here, added the image. So like this we create a component, and as we will move further we will start creating more better components, okay. So this is just the beginning. और React सीखना बहुत ही easy है. It is just like making a Maggie, okay. आपको सिर्फ कोड लिखते जाना है और आपका UI क्रिएट होता जाएगा and you can see it. So let's add some button also. So button open and close. So you can see we have a button also here. So this is your a simple basic component, how you create a component, okay. Alright, so we have created our component app, okay, and this is your default component, okay. By default because I have used export default for app component. So हमारा जो भी default component होता है वो हमारा main component होता है, okay. हमारा जो मेन कंपोनेंट होता है वो ही ब्राउज़र पे रेंडर होता है, ऑलराइट. सो हम जब भी अपने कंपोनेंट्स को राइट करेंगे, सो हमारा एक डिफ़ॉल्ट कंपोनेंट होगा जस्ट लाइक this we have app as a default, okay, और वो ब्राउजर पे रेंडर होगा. Now in this default app component, can we have multiple components in it? So the answer is yes. So let us see how we nest multiple components inside our main component. Okay, so हम क्या करेंगे, we are going to create another component function nest. Okay, and let us return some statement like I am the nest component. ओके, सो हमने एक सिंगल स्टेटमेंट रिटर्न कराई नेस्ट कंपोनेंट के थ्रू एंड सेमीकोलन इन द लास्ट. सो यू कैन सी अभी हमको उसका आउटपुट यहाँ शो नहीं कर रहा राइट साइड में, राइट? क्यों नहीं शो कर रहा? क्योंकि दिस इज नॉट अवर डिफॉल्ट component. So how we can show this on the browser? So inside app component, in the return statements, inside fragment, if I write nest and close it like this, so you can see here is the output. I am the nest component. Okay, so इस तरह से हम लोग मल्टीपल कंपोनेंट्स को हमारा जो मेन कंपोनेंट है उसके अंदर इंक्लूड कर सकते हैं. ओके, एंड इसी तरह से हम लोग मल्टीपल कंपोनेंट्स इंक्लूड करके अपना एक वेब पेज क्रिएट करते हैं. ओके, so we will see all that in the upcoming tutorials. So today's class was all about the components, how we create a component, okay, and how we use one component inside the other component. Okay, so हम लोगों ने image यूज़ करना सीख लिया, बटन किस तरह से इंक्लूड करते हैं, how we write headings, how we write paragraphs. Okay, so practice all this. Also few important things here, you can close the component like this, okay, using backslash. और जैसे हमने यहाँ पे image tag को ओपन किया फिर इमेज टैग क्लोज किया, हम चाहें तो इसको रिमूव कर सकते हैं. ओके, और यहाँ पे बैकस्लैश यूज़ कर सकते हैं. सो यू कैन सी द आउटपुट, दिस इज द शॉर्टकट. एंड आज हम लोगों ने इंपोर्ट रिएक्ट फ्रॉम रिएक्ट का यूज़ नहीं किया, जैसा कि पिछले ट्यूटोरियल में मैंने आपको बताया था, राइट, कि आफ्टर वर्जन 17 वी डू नॉट नीड टू राइट दैट लाइन. ओके, आप लिखते हैं तो भी कोई एरर नहीं आएगी, और नहीं लिखते हैं देन ऑल्सो इट इज़ राइट. नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज हमारा जो रिएक्ट है वो इन टैग्स, मार्कअप टैग्स को जब रीड करता है. ओके, सो यू कैन सी दे आर इन स्मॉल लेटर्स, H, स्मॉल p, देन स्मॉल I, राइट, स्मॉल b for button. So it knows that we are using HTML. Okay, but once it see this capital N, then it knows that it is a component and it looks for the return statement of this component which is a paragraph. So इन प्लेस ऑफ दिस नेस्ट वो क्या करता है, इस लाइन को इंक्लूड कर देता है यहाँ पे. ओके, लाइक दिस. सो दिस इज ऑल डन इंटरनली बाय द रिएक्ट. ओके, सो आई होप आप लोगों को कंपोनेंट्स समझ में आया होगा. इफ़ यू हैव एनी डाउट then you can comment in the comment section. Also I'm not including the class component because if you are learning the new version of React then class components are of no use. Okay, but if you want me then you can comment in the comment section. I will include that also in the next tutorial. तो मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट ट्यूटोरियल में, एंड इन नेक्स्ट ट्यूटोरियल वी विल सी व्हाट props are. So I am making a short tutorials of React so that you can easily understand each topic. Okay, so मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट ट्यूटोरियल में. Till then, goodbye and thank you.